Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. It's an afternoon. Normally I hit this in the morning, but it has been a full day here in Edmonton. So I am just here again to talk to you about what is currently going on in our real estate market as of today, Tuesday, May 16th. And we're going to take a look again at the active, sold, pending to show you what's going on. I'm going to talk to you about the election potentially affecting our market. And I'm going to talk to you about what the world lies in new home build sales in a second. So first, we're going to talk about what is going on currently. If you take a look at the active listings, you'll see that the listings really aren't changing week over week. In Edmonton, for single family homes, we only went up by 12 listings. And so that could be a lot of reasons. It could be houses sitting on the market. It could also be properties that have sold, the same amount are coming new, but there's not a big enough change or difference in that last week that has made it change significantly. So that's why you're seeing a 12 unit difference for single family homes. In St. Albert, you can see it went slightly up again by very minimal 3 whole properties. In Sherwood Park, it went up by 8. And in Spruce Grove, it went down by 1. So everybody in Edmonton and surrounding areas for single family homes are sitting very close to what they were last week. And that's not really alarming. It's quite typical of what we're seeing for this year's market. Now, if you take a look at the pending sales, these are the houses that went under contract and are now pending. Now, there are some exceptions where some houses will sell with no conditions, but we are not seeing as many of those happen this year. So likely if a house went on the market, it's not going straight to sold, it's going to pending, which is an offer on the market, or sorry, on the property itself. And then they usually have 5-7 days for sales, for pending. They're doing their due diligence. So in Edmonton, we saw 234 this last week versus 256. St. Albert 20 over 27, Sherwood Park 15 over 26, and Spruce Grove 14 over 19. So really nothing too crazy week over week. Sherwood Park saw a lot less go pending, and a lot of it also could do with a lack of inventory. If there's not inventory or choices that buyers want, they're just not going to write an offer and they're going to wait. Now, how long do you wait? Do you wait forever? Because everyone says it's going to be spring market, there's going to be more coming, but it's already the middle of May. Spring market is typically March, April, May, and May being the height. Prior to pre-pandemic, May used to be the hottest month. It is still moving along quite a bit, but it's not anything near what we saw, especially last year. So last week in sales and sold, you can see 236 properties sold in Edmonton, in St. Albert 27, Sherwood Park 23, Spruce Grove 16. So very similar to the week before. But let's take a look at what happened last year. So last year in Edmonton, we saw about 90, well, there's quite a bit. No, there's like almost it's 80 plus another 80. So like 160 more sales in the last year in that 1 week period. That's a lot of extra sales in 1 week. So May was still bustling. Now, to give you a spoiler alert, May started to slow down by the end of May and early June. So we'll start to probably see numbers kind of close the gap here a little bit. In St. Albert this week, we had 19 versus the 40 from last year. So again, that was almost double the sales last year compared to this year. Sherwood Park's a little bit closer at 23 versus 35 in the last year. Spruce Grove's almost identical. So Spruce Grove's market is what is seeing right now what it saw last year. So it's not necessarily busier than last year. It's pretty much the same at this time last year. They were a lot hotter earlier in the year in the February, March months from last year. So the state of the market, do you wait for your dream home? Do you kind of, wait and see? I'll tell you this, the new builds, silly builders, they went up like crazy for the first little bit, right? During pandemic, every 5 minutes, the prices was changing. Now they started to start giving incentives again. They started to negotiate again. Very not close to negotiations we saw from 5 years ago, but they are negotiating a little bit. But I'm starting to see them getting overconfident with the fact there's a lack of listings in the resale market. So they figured they could increase their prices because they're like, well, if you got nothing to buy on this side and you want to come here, we're going to charge you a premium for it. I don't think that's a very smart move. I think it's very short-minded that the builders are doing this because it's not wise. The market isn't strong enough to contend with that kind of pricing, and so what you're going to see, I think, is my prediction is you're going to see builders increase their price because they're overconfident in the market, and they're going to see buyers go, never mind, just going to wait. Because here's the thing: if there's no buyers putting offers in, they're going to have to lower their price again. They're moving on demand. And I find it interesting because it's not necessarily the demand that is making them increase their prices. It's the fact that they see the resale market has less an inventory, so they figure they could charge more. And I don't think that's a very wise move. Just like with sellers who think that last year's pricing can still get them this year, it's not going to happen. Yes, it's spring market. It's better chances of selling than it was last fall, winter, but you still have to price aggressively. And aggressive means if this is market value, you want to come in right here. No, you don't need to come down here. That's super aggressive. But you don't want to be above market value either, because in a market where the market is where it is now, sure, there's less listings, but there's also a whole lot less demand. And that is what is causing the market prices to adjust and stay either stable or a little bit lower than what you've seen sell in the last year. So if you're looking at doing something like, I'm going to just price high to test the market, I'll tell you it doesn't work. And even though there's not very many prices to look at, if no one's looking at your house, it means that your price is even more overpriced because there's not much to look at. So buyers will look, but it doesn't mean they're going to pay that price you're asking. Buyers are more savvy. They're also more hesitant because the interest rates are higher. So if the interest rates are higher, your mortgage payments are higher. If you have questions about the market and you're watching live, feel free to ask in the comments and I'm happy to post them and answer the questions. I'm going to talk about the election because that is something that's coming here in a few weeks. And I'm not making a political stance. I am just stating the facts. The election is going to likely affect the market because we've seen every time there's a change in power, there is always a change in the market in terms of the job, economy, all that kind of stuff. They're all tied together. So if you do want to sell your home, ideally you want to sell your home before potential market changes. Now, if the election results are the same as they are now, you're probably not going to see much of a change. If the parties change, you're going to start to see it. Now, it's not going to happen immediately, but probably within a few months, you'll start to see the economy take change from the election results, and then it will affect the housing market. So you will only have, in my opinion, about 30 days to make sure that house moves at the price you want it to go. Because if the market continues to decline, and if a change in parties affects the change in people's employment, it changes the hourly rate. It could change so many things. It could potentially impact your property value to continue to drop. It's right now stable and kind of dropping, but that's in general. Some areas you're still seeing demand, you're still seeing multiple offers. We are seeing a lot of multiple offers still. However, the multiple offers look different. They don't need to be $10,000 over list. They can still be list. We're starting to see multiple offers. People are lowballing all in multiple offer situations, which then for the seller, they get confused because they go, oh, yeah, I got a multiple offer. But why are none of these properties or these offers even market value? Whereas last year, when you were in a multiple offer situation, you were looking at multiple offers that were at least 10,000 over list, if not more, and also no conditions. But we're seeing market or offers being accepted with conditions, even in multiple offer situations. Things you can do to kind of make sure you win. One, make sure you have a pre-approval in place, but not just in place. Have something in writing to hand in with your offer. Two, you want to make sure your price is actually attractive. Put yourself in the shoes of the seller and talk to your realtor to make sure that that price is actually attractive, that it's not lower than market value. If you were just dealing with one-on-one and you weren't doing multiple offers, it's a different negotiation strategy. You don't have to have that same aggressiveness. You got to make sure you're willing to lose that house over the price you're putting it at. And three, make it personal as you can. Let them know why you like your house and put in an emotional pull. It may not help, but it can't hurt. So when it comes to winning a multiple offer, you got to work closely with your realtor to make sure that you're on the same team, to make sure we can win that offer for you so that you can get a decent price for your house even now. And as a seller, Make sure you are just taking the offers and being grateful for the offers that you're getting. And let's see if we can work those offers up to where you're going to be happy with. As long as sellers have an adjusted expectation of the market and are not expecting the prices from spring of 2022, you will be fine. You will still sell your house. Properties are still moving like we just saw here, where we're still seeing week over week, we're seeing the same amount of sales. A couple hundred sales in single family homes in Edmonton isn't horrible, but it's actually quite low, which means the demand is quite a bit lower than it has been for a while. So even with the state of the market with listings being low, it doesn't mean your house is going to shoot up into the sky and you can try higher. So if you have any more questions and you watch this, hit the replay, comment below, and we'll be happy to answer. Talk to you guys next